In the world of strongman, perhaps no other number holds as much weight as the number 5. While a few names were able to win the World's Strongest Man title 3 times or more, only one man could do it 5 times. Dubbed the Dominator, Mariusz Pudzianowski didn't just win, he bent the sport to his will. With the speed of a sprinter, grip like a vise, and the physique of an elite bodybuilder, he unleashed an unprecedented domination on the most coveted title in all of strongman. Nothing could stop Mariusz, not even prison. When he was incarcerated for 19 months for beating up a local mafia boss, he still won his first World's Strongest Man title fresh out of prison. When he was disqualified for drug use, he still came back the next year and won his 3rd title. And when he won his 5th record-shattering title, he did it with a calf injury. From an ex-con to an elite strongman to a veteran MMA fighter, this is how Mariusz Pudzianowski became the most dominant man in strongman history. (1977) gave birth to both the World's Strongest Man event and a man who would later dominate it like no one else. He grew up in the small Polish town of Young Rascal, and life wasn't easy.
Bo żeby pamiętam jeszcze też, za młodego chłopaka to z ojcem jeździliśmy na przykład o 23 do jakiegoś sklepu, do miasta dalej, 20 km dalej, pod sklep mięsny, spanie w samochodzie, żeby kupić jakąś wędlinę. To pamiętam jak dzisiaj, że staliśmy całymi nocami pod sklepem, żeby cokolwiek kupić. Lata PRL-u. Mając 20 parę lat już z tego zawodowstwa skończył, no i wziął się za pracę, żeby rodzina mu przyszła, żeby takich 3 orłów wyżywić i ten dom jakoś postawić, żeby godnie żyć na tamte czasy.
But in terms of like the bodybuilding and all that stuff, the weightlifting, what inspired you to devote your life to this?
Czyli mówię, że z mlekiem matki wypiłem ciężary, bo jak tylko sięgam pamięcią, jak tylko otwieram oczy, dźwigałem te ciężary gdzieś tam. Dlatego dźwigałem ciężary, że one po prostu leżały w domu. Mając 8-9 lat zacząłem trenować karate. No i w pewnym momencie ojciec powiedział, dobrze, to jak już trenujesz trochę, widzisz, że chodzę z pół roku na te treningi, to ustawimy sztangę, ławeczkę i zaczniesz sobie troszeczkę trenować siłę.
Tata też uprawiał podnoszenie ciężarów i w sposób naturalny trafił pan do tego sportu.
Będąc małym dzieciakiem, nie wiem ile mogłem mieć, jak mnie i mojego brata starszego ojciec zabierał na tą salę treningową, sadzał nas na materacu.
To nie wiem, czy to były 15, 20, jako mały brzdąc i podciągam pod tą sztangę, bo podnieść tego nie mogłem i podsuwam mu pod tą sztangę, żeby on sobie nasunął te talerze.
Pan swoich idoli wtedy jako dziecko?
Nie miałem nigdy żadnego takiego idola. Dla mnie zawsze tym przykładem był ojciec, bo pamiętam jak ojciec podnosił ciężary i zawsze tym wyznacznikiem dla mnie ojciec był. Pamiętam, zakładał 140 kg na ławeczce i sobie leciutko to wyciskał. Ja będąc małym brzdącem, zakładałem może ten gryf cały, jeszcze piąteczki talerze i tak machałem i sobie kiedyś myślałem, kiedy ja to założę, takie wielkie te talerze.
With his father's tutelage, Mariusz was already benching 350 pounds, more than his father, at only 16. Realizing his potential, he went into strength training harder than ever before.
No z siłowni, z mojej sali treningowej prywatnej w piwnicy, to mama tu musiała mnie pasem wyganiać. De facto, bo potrafiłem siedzieć po 5-6 godzin i dźwigać te ciężary. Bo zawsze wśród rówieśników byłem jednym z większych chłopaków.
Zawsze się tak wyraziłem. No i w domu oczywiście, mimo to, że byłem środkowy, to tłukłem wszystkich.
Tak, ja zawsze łobuziakiem byłem od najmłodszych lat. Już nie ma czym tutaj się chwalić. Mając już 16 lat, no to już pierwsze sprawy za pobicia były.
Więc już chyba takie namaszczenie odgórne miałem od najmłodszych lat.
Realizing his natural affinity for strength, Mariusz decided to enter the Polish Bench Press Championship at age 16.
Mając chyba 16 lat albo coś z małym haczykiem, 160 kg na ławce, 18 lat już potem 200, no i później już dalej poleciał.
What made these feats even more impressive was the fact that he wasn't totally focused on strength training. As he trained in combat sports on the side, Mariusz decided to focus all his energy on weightlifting and strength training. In 1999, the 21-year-old took part in his first local strongman competition, where he placed second out of 20 competitors. That got the adventure going, he said.
No to jak już zacząłem wygrywać wtedy od 3 maja, no to od tamtej pory chyba praktycznie na 200 parę startów, tylko raz chyba drugi byłem i potem już cały czas pierwszy. No rzadko kiedy zdarzyło się, żebym był w Polsce drugi. Poniżej drugiego miejsca w Polsce nigdy nie spadłem.
Just a year removed from his first professional training session as a 21-year-old weightlifter, Mariusz was already the national strongman champion. And that was just the beginning. With the lack of challenge in his national region, Mariusz got the chance to kick things up a notch after being invited to make his debut in the 2000 World's Strongest Man.
30 men came here to Sun City in search of the most coveted title in strongman sport, and now there are just 10 left. One of these men will be the world's strongest man.
After 3 first places in his heat ahead of future legends like Phil Pfister and Zydrunas Zawikas, Mariusz proved himself as a legitimate threat heading into the finals.
First of all, there's Mariusz Pudzianowski, the surprise package from Poland, a former professional boxer who won his heat. Who is the best?
Magnus and Janne.
And you?
Yes.
Pudzianowski, well, a real test for him. Martin Muir of Germany. Over a ton this car weighs. Pudzianowski is in second place and heading towards Samuelson's lead. 3 to go. 2-1. He's done it. He's won the event. Well, he doesn't speak very good English, but I think we all understand that.
Very hard for me to lift the car. It's very hard, but I managed it. Now I've got to keep on fighting.
So, feeling good?
Yes.
The car deadlift hold would be his only first place in the finals, followed by a second in power stairs and a third in truck pull, while his placings in the rest of the events ranged from 4th to 7th place, eventually landing him in 4th place overall behind the eventual winner Janne Virtanen, Sven Karlsson, and Magnus Samuelsson. His performance in the car lift and Atlas Stones was an early indicator of the dominance that would follow in his career. But that dominance was about to end before it even began. After his first World's Strongest Man participation, the 23-year-old faced his first, but not last, bit of controversy when he couldn't take part in the 2001 contest due to incarceration. According to an interview with Fact TV magazine, Mariusz got in trouble over assaulting a local mafia boss. He was a very influential and exceptionally brutal man, he said. I couldn't stand watching him abuse an 18-year-old boy. Eventually, Mariusz was accused of assault and stealing a gold chain and spent 19 months in prison, quickly going from one of the top strongman contenders to the sport's forgotten man.
Hello and welcome to the Europe's Strongest Man contest 2002. This year, the competition is held in Poland's northern port city of Gdynia. This man has to be watched out for, Pudzianowski. We saw him 2 years ago when he made the final of World's Strongest Man, finished 4th in his first season, and he's just come back. And this is the title he wants to take off of this man, Sven Karlsson, the World's Strongest Man from 2001, and also defending European champion.
This was his first contest after being released from prison. Despite his hampered preparation, Mariusz easily took the win ahead of his fellow Polish Jarek Dymek and defending champ Sven Karlsson, who was relegated to 3rd. It proved a great homecoming for him, but the real challenge lay ahead in this year's World's Strongest Man.
The Metrex Trophy for the World's Strongest Man will be contested this year in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia.
I am very determined, and when I was released I had 4 months to prepare. No disco, no play, just training and more training. After 2 months, I became European champion, and now everything is possible.
Mariusz came in second in his heat, safely advancing to the finals.
Mariusz, many congratulations on getting to the final. You made it 2 years ago. I think you're in better shape this time and a serious contender. After qualifying events around the globe and here in Kuala Lumpur, we're left with just 10 men. This will be the most competitive final in memory.
This year's contest put both Mariusz's strengths and weaknesses on full display. His strengths lay in explosive, athletic movements like the flip and drag and farmer's carry, where he came in first, building an early lead. However, he was less dominant in static lifts, such as the car deadlift, where he landed in 4th place with 8 reps, and the 700-pound squat, where he only managed 4 reps, finishing in 6th place, his lowest placing in the contest. With 1 event left, he was leading the field with Zawiskas breathing down his neck with only a 3-point margin.
Who'll be champion, Pudzianowski or Savickas? And who'll be third? 4 men still in with a chance.
The big two, the last two competitors in this final. It's all come down to this. Savickas a little bit behind. Savickas number 2, already the pole on number 3. Will it be this fella from Lithuania or will it be Poland? Can he become world's strongest man? Yes, Mariusz Pudzianowski brings home Poland's first ever title.
I don't know what to think. I did not expect this, although I worked hard for it. I am the world's strongest man. I cannot believe this. I have won. I am so happy, and happy also for my family.
Defying the odds, Mariusz flipped the script, going from the man few thought would be a contender to securing his first title fresh out of prison, finishing 8 points clear of Zydrunas Savickas and launching his era of dominance.
Hello and welcome to Zeewolde in the Netherlands for this, the second event in the Super Series Strongman World Championship.
The 2003 Holland Grand Prix was staged before an audience of approximately 3,000. It was the second Grand Prix event in the Strongman Super Series circuit, held by the International Federation of Strength Athletes, better known as IFSA. Mariusz had already taken the opening Grand Prix event in Hawaii in January with Samiz, but rumor had it that injuries had plagued his preparation for the Dutch event. As soon as the opening event started, however, the crowd knew he was there for business. Building on his momentum from his stellar 2003 season, Mariusz finished first ahead of Zydrunas Savickas and Jarno Hams. This victory further solidified his dominance in the Super Series Tour, contributing to his overall championship win that year. After a runner-up spot behind Hugo Girard in the prestigious World Muscle Power Classic, Mariusz was ready for a record-breaking performance in this year's World's Strongest Man.
4,500 kilos of beef assembled here at the Victoria Falls in Zambia, in the heart of Africa, in pursuit of the Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man.
Daniem Bedzi obronić tytuł. Obronić mistrzostwo świata w tym roku będzie bardzo ciężko. Jest bardzo wysoki poziom. Zawodnicy postawili wysoką poprzeczkę, ale tak łatwo skóry nie sprzedam.
In his qualifying heat, Mariusz dominated with 32 points, edging out Canada's Jeff Dolan and comfortably advancing to the final, where he'd put on the performance of a lifetime.
After qualifying competitions around the world and 5 grueling heats, we're left with 10 giants in the final, one of whom will be crowned the world's strongest man. And the top 10 strongmen are headed by the defending champion.
The final mixed classic max strength with long carries and pulls. Mariusz's conditioning and grip let him stack big points repeatedly. 4 wins and 2 runner-ups, opening a gap rivals couldn't close. Although Savickas clawed points on the pure power pieces and Vasil Verastiuk surged on stones and heavy pulls, neither matched the champs' all-event consistency.
I can tell you Mariusz Pudzianowski is the champion already. That is superb.
After dominating the deadlifts, Mariusz was so far ahead of everyone else that he won the contest a full day early.
You did it.
I tak, drugi raz z rzędu udało mi się wygrać.
And how does this victory compare to the one you had 12 months ago?
Rok temu mogę powiedzieć, że było ciężej. W tym roku po prostu przeciwnicy troszeczkę jakby może odpuścili, albo ja dobrze się przygotowałem, nie wiem. Teraz Polska rządzi.
The next day featured only one event, the Farmer's Walk, and even with a 3rd place in the Farmer's Walk, Mariusz blitzed the competition with a record-setting 66 points. He was a staggering 20 points ahead of his closest competitor, a gap that exceeded the points between 2nd and 9th place. The second highest since Bill Kazmaier's 1980 win with 28.5 points margin over Lars Hedlund. With such a victory, it looked like no one could stand in the way of the mighty pole. British strongman Lawrence Chalet even hailed it as the most dominant victory ever seen at a World's Strongest Man event. That was until another controversy threatened his dominance. Mariusz continued to expand his dominance through 2004, both nationally and internationally, but this dominance would be cut short very soon in his third World's Strongest Man title defense. Following the death of Johnny Perry in 2002, medical examiners noted that his heart was significantly enlarged, possibly reflecting long-term steroid use and increasing vulnerability to heart complications. And with that, the sport was facing increased scrutiny regarding athletes' health. Mariusz failed to defend his title this year, dropping to third place. But that wasn't the worst of it. 1 month after the event, he learned that he'd been disqualified after testing positive for a banned substance, forfeiting his podium position, prize money, and points. Mariusz accepted the result and waived his rights to B-sample verification, landing himself an official 12-month suspension, conditional on completing a rehabilitation program. While the type of substance wasn't officially verified, some had their theories.
He got DQ'd.
Yeah, but not for for party drugs, basically.
Yeah. He got caught.
Allegedly.
No. He got caught taking cocaine.
So he came third in World's Strongest Man on a diet of cocaine and chocolate. That's what.
Cocaine, chocolate, Coca-Cola, and Haribo.
Yes, of course. I eat everything. Chocolate, this is my special diet. Chocolate, ice cream.
Once again, Mariusz would find himself in the pits of despair. Only 4 strongmen lost the title and came back to reclaim it. Would he be the 5th? Or was his legend over? 2005 was a pivotal year, not just to Mariusz's career, but to the sport as a whole. Formed in the 1990s, the International Federation of Strength Athletes worked to govern the sport by standardizing rules, handling anti-doping, as well as running the circuit of Grand Prix shows and a World Championship, and it worked alongside World's Strongest Man for decades. But this year, they decided to part ways, with IFSA acquiring new benefactors and hosting their own World Championships.
Pretty much all the top guys left. Zadrunas, Zavickas, Vasil Verastuk, Misha Kuklayev, Andras Murmans, a lot of the top guys went over to IFSA.
While IFSA signed most of the world's top strongman to exclusive deals, Mariusz chose to remain with World's Strongest Man in hopes of reclaiming the title.
Can the Dominator from Poland become just the 4th ever athlete to win 3 Metrex World's Strongest Man titles? It's time to find out.
I am 2 times World's Strongest Man. Maybe this year, 3rd time. I want to be the best strongman ever. I want 5 times World's Strongest Man. Maybe. For me, it's possible.
Mariusz topped his heat with 25 points, outperforming notable contenders like Don Pope. But as soon as the finals started, he suddenly lost all that momentum he'd built up.
This is the first event. It's the Fingals Fingers.
Here comes Marunde. We could be on for a world record here. Look at that. He let his concentration go, and there was a look of disgust as he put that 5th one down at 51.64. That will cost him some places.
The next test for the athletes is the Hercules hold.
Mariusz has never had to come back from such a points deficit.
Listen, 48.8. He's never going to get anywhere near that 1 minute 11 of Tarmo Mitz.
Kaz, are you surprised to see Mariusz Pudzianowski so far down the leaderboard?
I am, but he may be down right now. He's surely not going to be down for long.
Stops the clock at watch out! And he puts up the new time to beat, 15.29 seconds.
Do you think you can catch Jesse Marundi?
I think so.
The pole is just like a little machine over there at the moment. He's really trying to let his rival know who is the boss here. No lift, you're hearing, but 13 will be good enough because Jesse had to stop at 12.
Only way I would have beat him is if he had made a mistake, and he doesn't do that very often.
Mariusz Pudzianowski has won the last 2 events and now trails Jesse Marunde by just a single point. Look how easy he makes 750 pounds look. Mariusz Pudzianowski completes the rack in the fastest time. Pudzianowski is your winner. Jesse Marunde gets 5 reps in 22.49 seconds.
3 events later, he was propelled into first place with 4 points ahead of his closest competitor. And his comeback was now closer than ever.
If he reaches 70 meters, he cannot be caught. He will be crowned
2005 World's Strongest Man.
5 meters to go. He's done it. You are looking at the world's strongest man for 2005.
Mariusz, you're the world's strongest man champion for the 3rd time. Do you feel like you're the best ever world's strongest man?
Maybe, I think so. I want 5 times, it's possible.
The IFSA split changed the competitive landscape, and with another title in the bag, fans thought there was no stopping the Dominator. But one man was about to change that.
Welcome to Sanya, where 25 competitors will aim to push, pull, and lift their way to the final of World's Strongest Man 2006.
Just like last year, Mariusz topped his heat on 25 points. He tied for first with Mark Felix, with both men getting 16 reps in the 725 pounds car deadlift, before establishing his lead in the power stairs, finishing 8 seconds faster than Tarmomeet in second. But the overhead stone lift was the event that changed everything. Mariusz could only lift 2 stones. No other competitor was able to lift all 4, except for 5th placer Phil Pfister, who handled them with relative ease, elevating him to 3rd place. And that's when the momentum swing began. Pfister setting a new world record in the Fingal's fingers, coupled with a disappointing 6th place for Mariusz, tightened the gap even further. Fingal's fingers event was Mariusz's Achilles heel, as he later claimed that the inclusion of it was to make sure he lost points.
So they always put it in the competition because they wanted Mariusz to lose some points. They did it on purpose because they knew that this is the only place there can be some kind of competition, because I was too good in the over challenges, so there was no place to even have some kind of rivalry.
Now, if you thought waiting for a bus was hard enough, imagine having to pull one of these things in 100 degrees heat.
Can Mariusz Pudzianowski beat the bus? He's got some speed though, this looks promising. Here's that second incline again. Nobody's conquered it yet, and I don't think Pudzianowski's going to conquer it either. It's enough for the lead, surely.
Phil Pfister, 2 wins on the bounce. He's the man in form.
Well, with a look of determination on his face when he completed all 4 of the stones, that was an incredible feat. Now to go 3 in a row, I think he's ready. His height could be an advantage as long as he stays low, pulls hard, and takes the pain.
He's not looking up at where he's going, he's just looking focused on the floor. He's very close to Pudzianowski right here. And that's where he has to say enough is enough. I think he's got it, you know.
Although no one finished the course, Pfister still edged out Mariusz, with the gap shrinking to 1.5 points.
That car weighs a lot, 926 pounds, and you've got to carry it 30 meters as fast as you can. He's got that car rocking and rolling. He's had that extra weight. Well, he settled it down now, but that wasn't a promising start.
This is looking good from Pudzianowski now.
And he didn't just beat Venter's time, he absolutely obliterated it. I didn't expect that after that start. I thought he was going to lose an awful lot there. This doesn't look like one of the Americans' better events, but can a little bit of adrenaline help him here? He's got it very under control. This looks promising. Got a shot at 27.4. He's going to beat it as well.
Yes! Yes!
That's 4 firsts in a row.
Maybe we can make it 5 and get the overall. Just half a point separates the top 2 with just 1 event left. If Pfister finishes ahead of Pudzianowski, he'll be the first American to win the title for 24 years.
So dynamic, Pudzianowski. These lighter stones, he's gone ahead.
Nothing between them here. Look at this. They're both to the 5th stone. Pfister's got in front, and he's edged it. His reign comes to an end. His has just begun.
Once again, Mariusz would find himself a former champion. But he was determined to make yet another comeback and equal Magnus Vermagnusson and Jean-Paul Sigmarsson's record of 4 wins.
This year's World's Strongest Man. 10 competitors have qualified through 5 grueling events. Lying ahead of them, it's one hell of a challenge.
Defending champion Phil Pfister was nursing a back injury in this year's contest, giving Mariusz an opening to regain the title.
So Mariusz, are you in the best shape of your life? I show you who is strong.
Defending champion, nursing a bad back. Huge support here for Pudzianowski, the 3-time former champion, and is desperate to get back. Pudzianowski's made a fast start. Pudzianowski is tearing through this right now. He's looking like a sprinter out there against middle distance runners. Mariusz Pudzianowski's destroyed Dave Austin's 44.10. Next up,
the safe lift. And look at the reps Pudzianowski's doing as well. He's even holding it up there for a second longer than the others just to say, hey, I am the best.
As usual, Pudzianowski is in the top two. Phil Pfister has to settle for third.
Well, we love the fingers. If there is one weakness in this man's armory, this is it. He's not fast, and with Venter and Pfister going off like a couple of greyhounds at Catford. Look at the time! Oh my goodness! Weakness? What weakness? He didn't manage to beat Venter, but he stayed ahead of Pfister, and that's a huge advantage for him.
I've never seen you so happy, never. Yes, because this is all the time by his bad events. And now 2 months straight, 3 times every day, 1 hour training. And now very, very fast up. So now you think you can win? I hope. Later it's my best events, I show you.
After 3 events, Pfister was third in striking distance, but the low deadlift score of only 2 reps, followed by a 5th place in the fire engine pole, dropped him out of podium contention.
Mariusz is threatening to run away with this tournament. A good pull here on the fire engine could just cement his coronation. I remember last year he got beaten by Phil Pfister in this event. This is fast from Mariusz, really fast. Is it another maximum for Pudzianowski? It looks like it does look good for Mariusz Pudzianowski.
Can Pudzianowski win that 4th title? To find out, let's head over to Huntington Beach.
Well, Mariusz, if he gets in the top 2 here, Nick, he wins it. He's driving that car. Hey, you got to get those wheels off the ground. You are looking at history.
Mariusz blew away the field, finishing the event nearly 5 seconds faster than anyone else, clinching the title with 1 event to spare and becoming the 3rd man to join the elite ranks of 4-time World's Strongest Man winners.
Will he come back for title number 5 and be the one and only? 4 is nothing, 5, I want.
Retrieving the title for a 2nd time proved that the 30-year-old wasn't a fluke. This time, there was no doubting his ability. If someone was to win the World's Strongest Man title an unprecedented 5 times, it was going to be him. But an unexpected complication threatened these hopes. Mariusz started his 2008 season like he always did, dominating international and European strongman contests, one of which was Poland's Strongest Man, which he won for the 6th time this year. But during the tire flip event, he sustained a calf injury that threatened his World's Strongest Man participation. With 3 weeks to go for his title defense, he refused to pull out of the contest and opted against surgery, preferring just to rest instead.
To beautiful Charleston, the capital city of West Virginia, as it plays host to the Metrics World's Strongest Man.
This is the 5th and final finger for Mariusz Pudzianowski, but it looks like he may be injured, Kaz.
He didn't seem to use his calf. There's something wrong.
Despite aggravating his calf injury during qualifiers, Mariusz comfortably won his heat with 29 points, ahead of Errol Haugen and a young Brian Shaw.
We're in Charleston, West Virginia for the first of 7 events in the Metrics World's Strongest Man final, the Power Stairs.
Mariusz made a powerful start with a 1st place in the Power Stairs, an event he usually dominated, but the rest of the events didn't go as smoothly.
Car walk is the 2nd of 7 unique tests of strength. Mariusz really struggling with the balance there. That is going to cost him some time, but the time to beat 14.23 seconds, and he'll stop the clock at 16.70.
That start really hurt him.
Not happy with that performance. 3rd of 7 events in the Metrics World's Strongest Man final, the Fingal Fingers. Mariusz may be the most powerful man on the planet right now, and this is the final one, 705 pounds. Phil has the leverage, pushes it over, and stops the clock at 36:01.
After 2 consecutive 5th places, Mariusz dropped to 4th place overall, with 5 points separating him from the leader. The question was, would his injury continue to stall his bid for this year's title?
I'm not sure there's ever been a bigger event than this one. The athletes will need to pull an 88,000-pound Hercules C-130 belonging to the West Virginia Air National Guard over a 25-meter course.
He's got to cover the 25-meter course. There you see the time to beat put up by Phil Pfister.
God, this is easily the fastest we've seen this plane move, too.
And he has done it. By the narrowest of margins, Mariusz Pudzianowski has edged Phil Pfister.
A tie for 1st place in the deadlift with Derek Poundstone and a 1st in the plane pull trimmed the gap to a single point between Mariusz and the current leader, setting up a winner-take-all Atlas Stones Showdown.
Well, whoever wins the head-to-head matchup between Derek Poundstone and Mariusz Pudzianowski will be the 2008 World's Strongest Man. So it comes down to the final pairing in the final event. Rain has begun to fall once again, Kaz, but they are not letting that stop them. Dead even at 4 stones. Now to the 5th and final stone. Who will it be? Poundstone has it and he drops it. It's Pudzianowski winning the title yet again. For 5 times we have said it, we'll say it again.
Poetically enough, Mariusz won his 5th title the same way Pfister beat him 2 years prior, making history as the only man to win the title 5 times. But it was time for the return of the man who would take the title from him once and for all. Extending his streaks, Mariusz won the 2009 Poland's Strongest Man a 7th time, and Europe's Strongest Man a 6th time. And he was hoping to replicate this success in this year's World's Strongest Man. But that wouldn't be the case. After the 2007 IFSA Worlds, reports of unpaid bills and other debts surfaced, leading IFSA to go financially defunct. And by 2009, the main circuits agreed to let everyone meet again at World's Strongest Man, ending the practical ban and producing the most competitive field in years. And with the return of his old rival, Mariusz would have his hands full trying to defend his title this year. In his absence from World's Strongest Man from 2005 to 2008, Zydrunas Savickas won 2 IFSA Strongman World Championships alongside a string of national and European competitions and dominated every Arnold Classic he'd been in. He'd never finished higher than 2nd in the World's Strongest Man, but this year, the Lithuanian was the man to beat. And the long-awaited showdown was on.
Welcome to World's Strongest Man 2009.
And here's a fella, 3 times the World's Strongest Man runner-up. Is this going to be his year? It's the tallest man in this heat. In his 2nd World's Strongest Man appearance, Brian Shaw of the USA.
Savickas topped his heat, followed by Brian Shaw, while Mariusz finished behind Phil Pfister in their heat, advancing to the finals.
They currently stand at the foot of one of the toughest mountains in sport. It's the final of World's Strongest Man 2009.
Fingal's fingers is the very first test of strength in this year's final.
Some people think Savickas isn't an athlete, but he can move Savickas, and he's well ahead of Pfister here.
A new world record in the Fingal's fingers. Well, Pudzianowski didn't get away too well in his heats, but he really means business now. This is the final. Poundstone getting it over. Pudzianowski there really battled after a terrific start.
By the end of the 2nd event, Savickas was still leading the field, with Mariusz and Derek Poundstone tied for 2nd.
The Lithuanian is beginning to look untouchable as he edges out his 2 closest rivals.
But this would change very soon.
Zydrunas Savickas, the leader. He's been absolutely superb in this final so far, but he's struggling at the beginning.
He's going for it though, isn't he, Paul? He's giving absolutely everything into this.
At 45 seconds, and Savickas is way, way down on that time.
And that's really thrown Mariusz a lifeline. He's realized the others are sticking on that wooden board, and he's thrown a load of talc down, and it's working, Paul. Look at the length of pull he gets.
And this is a very good time. It could be under 40 seconds. Yes, it is. Mariusz Pudzianowski shows why he is the great champion.
Despite his great performance, Mariusz finished 2nd behind Brian Shaw in this event, who'd beat the champ by almost 7 seconds. However, Savickas looked in trouble as the margin shrank to half a point between him and Mariusz.
That's what lies in wait for the strongmen, the deadlift. If Savickas can finish in the lead after this one, the pressure goes back to Pudzianowski. Savickas looks the stronger. He's ahead by 1 repetition. Pudzianowski has not finished though. He gets 9, and Savickas has rubbed salt in the wounds. No more. Savickas is the winner.
I need to win this title because it was too much time, 2nd place in this competition. I must win.
The title looked slippery in the defending champ's hand after the car deadlift, with Savickas now leading with 2 points. Everything hinged on one last event.
Yet again, the Atlas Stones will decide who will be the world's strongest man.
This is it, Colin. the title every strongman wants to win.
And it's neck and neck once again.
Now Zavikas goes ahead. He is the world's strongest man. Pudzianowski has lost his title. He cannot believe it.
He is the champ.
2009 marked the conclusion of a very prolific strongman career. His unmatched 5 World's Strongest Man titles had led some fans to believe that Mariusz was the greatest of all time. But many would disagree with this statement. While he may not be the strongest ever to compete, he was the most dominant in the context of the World's Strongest Man competition. But a lot of people would make the case that Zaviskas, in fact, is the most impressive athlete the sport has ever seen. 2005 to 2008 were considered the lost years of World's Strongest Man, as the split with IFSA had fractured the talent pool. Question marks were often raised about the impressiveness of Mariusz's wins during these years. Although he competed in the Arnold Strongman Classic 3 times, he was never able to crack the top 3 since his competitive advantage lay more in his athleticism. On the other hand, Big Z dominated the Arnold Classic completely, winning it a record 8 times. Whatever the case may be, Mariusz saw the writing on the wall. Zaviskas was clearly the heir apparent, and it looked like he would be unstoppable for years to come. Mariusz had already cemented himself as the most dominant man in the sport, and it was time for a different challenge.
And I heard a rumor that you might go into MMA.
Yes. A couple months ago, I started come back to fight, and possibly in December, half December, I fight in MMA.
Co pana właściwie skłoniło? Kto pana na to namówił? Czy to jest przedłużenie sportowej kariery, czy chęć spróbowania się?
Siedzieliśmy sobie w Mariocie, jak wtedy dobrze pamiętam, redaktor chyba z kulturystyki i fitness siedział i jego fotoreporter. I mówi: Mariusz, chodź pojedziemy na jakąś salę treningową, zrobimy dla beki zdjęcie, że ty trenujesz MMA. Założymy rękawice, Pudzian trenuje MMA. No i tak rzuciliśmy hasło, poleciało to w teren, do Super Expressu, gdzieś tam poszło, do różnych mediów, że Pudzian trenuje MMA. To rozdzwoniły się telefony, czy nie chciałbym się sprawdzić po ringach, potrzebne mi to jest. Wiedziałem, że ja się do tego akurat na tamten czas nie nadawałem, no bo chłopisko 140 parę kilo. Ja miałem potężną siłę, ale maksymalnie na 2 minuty. Ja mogłem przenosić 500 kilo, 600, ale 2 minuty max. Wtedy za Mistrzostwa Świata 60-70 tysięcy dolarów dostawałem za wygranie Mistrzostwa Świata w podnoszeniu ciężaru. Co tu zrobić, żeby wystraszyć ich po prostu od niechcenia? Tak, ja się mówię, no czy poważna jesteś, no czy ja się nie będę bił, no co ty, na głowę upadłaś? No i mówię, dobrze, powiedz, że chcę 3-4 razy tyle, co za Mistrzostwa Świata. Włodarze mówią, dajcie nam miesiąc, pomyślimy. No to mówię, dobrze, już spokój jest. No na pewno się nie zgodzą. No gdzie takie pieniądze znajdą? Na tamte czasy to były bardzo duże pieniądze.
KSW owners had to take a loan to pay my fee.
Mariusz signed a 4-fight contract with KSW, the premier MMA organization in Poland, and one of the leading in Europe. Looking over Mariusz's first few fights, it was a roster dominated by names that were once very impressive, but either had lost some of their luster or never had the skill to be competitive. A pretty common tactic in combat sports. Book some fights for your new up-and-coming star that look difficult, but are fairly easy wins. He won his first 2 fights against Marcin Nyman, whom he beat via TKO in 43 seconds, and Yusuke Kawaguchi, whom he defeated by a unanimous decision after 2 rounds. His third fight, however, was at a promotion called Musin, God of Martial Arts, against former UFC heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia. Eventually, Tim would finish Mariusz with punches in the second round.
Fight with Sylvia. Oh, I am crazy. Sylvia, show me first time what is this MMA. When I back to Poland, I told to my friend, never beat me next guy and go to hard training slowly.
His MMA career extended to 28 fights at the time of making this video, with a record of 17-10 with 1 no contest. His opponents included fighters like Butterbean, Bob Sapp, Mikhail Materla, Mahmed Khalidov, and Karel Baydorf. His most recent opponent, however, was none other than fellow strongman Eddie Hall, who was making his official MMA debut on April 26, 2025. The bout, staged at KSW 105 in Poland, was billed as the world's strongest fight, pitting Eddie Hall's raw power against Pudzianowski's hard-earned cage savvy. Eddie Hall tipped the scales at a hefty 334 pounds, faced a 67-pound weight advantage over the 48-year-old. Despite the Polish veteran's experience, the fight was over almost as soon as it began. Eddie stormed out, landed a sharp jab, then a left hook, sending Mariusz to the mat, unleashing a barrage of hammer fists. Eddie famously scored higher than Alex Pereira and Francis Ngannou on the UFC Performance Institute's punching power machine, and Mariusz felt that power early, struggling to recover and overcome the massive size difference. 30 seconds was all it took for the Beast to KO his rival in his MMA debut. Since the fight, Mariusz has kept a low profile, but recently broke the silence amid rumors about his retirement.
Sporo ostatnio pojawiło się pytań i komentarzy, Mariusz, co dalej ze sportem, co dalej z karierą twoją MMA i tak dalej, i tak dalej. Widzę, że niektórzy znawcy już lepiej znają odpowiedź ode mnie. Spokojnie, pracy to mi nie brakuje. A sportem, tak jak bawiłem się, tak bawię się dalej. Tak informacyjnie nie zawiesiłem, więc jeszcze nic nie wiadomo, więc spokojnie. Ja jeszcze ostatniego słowa nie powiedziałem, a jeszcze mi się chce codziennie, sala, trening, więc spokojnie. A tym, którym się nudzi, to zapraszam. Pracy u mnie nie brakuje, to miłego dziobka.
While his MMA career spanned longer than his strongman career, Mariusz will forever be a strongman at heart. Right now, he's more interested in running his various businesses and doing MMA, not for any sort of glory, but for fun. After all, he'd already achieved all the glory he could ask for. 5 World's Strongest Man titles, 9 finals in 9 tries, and 6 Europe's Strongest Man crowns have undoubtedly made him one of the greatest strongmen to ever grace the earth, and in the opinion of many, the greatest.
Polska góra, Polska rządzi. This is sport, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes injury, sometimes it's bad. This is life.